this is how much actions every single person has. There's 5 romance actions, 3 research, 3 reckon. When you fill the full research line, you go home. That wasn't on my first playthrough, so let's just click that. Oh, cool. Oh, I can actually explore extras. I'm not gonna be doing this. Not until we are about to finish the game anyway. Then maybe. But we still have 6 people, so there's a lot of game to go. Ah, it is actually tied to chapters rather than people. That's fairly interesting. That means that whoever comes next will get Floofy Butt. What that also means that this should be tied to... Yep, this is, I believe, tied to chapters and not people. Good to know, game. I believe that this Asian chick is the perfect one to actually investigate the stuff. And I'll show you why. I've been staring at the back of his head for a long time now. Too long. I'm starting to feel creepy. I just don't understand it. All he does is sit in that chair by the dock, eating egg sandwiches and doing crossword puzzles. How does a man like that become the security guard for a place like this? As far as I can tell, his job consists of greeting the boat to make sure nothing unauthorized gets on or off it, picking up supply deliveries, and occasionally taking a long, lazy lap of the island to make sure everything's secure. I wonder what he knows about the research that goes on here, if anything. He doesn't seem to be interested regardless. I decide it's time to get to know the island bouncer and go to join him on the dock. I sit next to Zane, me on the sand, him in that chair. He's not wearing his big coat, and the short-sleeved shirt allows me to notice for the first time how surprisingly muscular he is. I never truly thought of him as security in the bodyguard sense, but now, squinting at him sideways, trying not to stare too obviously, I begin to see in him a new light. I pluck up the courage to ask, "Hey Zane, how are you? Are you trying to start a conversation?" He says this without looking up from the crossword puzzle. I suppose I am, yes. I don't get to chat to humans much in my job. Research Assistant 125. He rolls the words out like he's reading them. Oh yes, I guess that's me. So what does that number stand for anyhow? You don't know? He asks monotonously, eyes still glued to his crossword puzzle. No, actually, to be honest, Zane, I don't know much at all. There's a defined lack of intel sharing on this project. Which project would that be? This one? The whole research project that's going on? Is there more than one? Depends who you ask. You! I was just asking you, really. I don't understand your job. I don't need to. I don't care about the things I don't need to. What do you care about? Zane looks at me for the first time. You really want to talk, don't you? Well, there's not much else to do here besides I'm interested in it all, aren't you? My interests consist of what's for dinner and when my next puzzle book's coming. When it's coming, you get it delivered? Comes with the mail? He's back to not looking at me again. The mail? You mean the parcels? And the letters, yeah. The letters? Who would go to the trouble of sending mail all the way out here when we have email? I laugh, but Zane looks very serious. It's safer sending mail the old-fashioned way. With email, there's viruses, hackers, worms, cyber terrorists. I get the feeling he's not very tech-savvy. Yeah, but anyone can open and read the letter, right? Not if I'm around. And besides, who would you suspect that something important would be in a fragrant pink envelope? That's an awkward silence. Of course, being my usual socially inept self, I am desperate to fill it. Need any help with that crossword? I'm pretty good. I can even do cryptic puzzle in the Daily Inquirer. This line usually gains me a little kudos, but Zane simply ignores me. I decide to just come out and say what's on my mind. I mean, it can't make things more awkward than they already are. Zane, have you ever noticed anything strange going on here? Cats behaving weirdly? Zane suddenly looks up, his eyes locking straight on mine, unwavering and hard. No, have you? Well, not exactly, but he's looking at me properly for the first time since we met. I have definitely captured his attention and I'm too nervous to follow through. I'm just being silly. The lack of human company can get to me. It gives me daft ideas, such as still staring at me as though he's trying to read my mind. Sometimes when I'm out tagging, I feel they're playing games on me, like children, hide and seek, that sort of thing. Some of those cats may be cleverer than any of us give us credit for. Now it's my turn to be intrigued. In what way? They know when to stay out of the sun. You're going pink. The moment, if there was one, is over. I decide maybe Zane isn't the best person to talk to about my concerns. Feeling unwanted and slightly dejected, I decide to head back to the camp. I stand up and brush the sand off me. What's a 5-letter word for solitude? Alone. Zane silently scribbles in the book as I leave. I think their interests are also tied to the chapter rather than person. Because this girl was really good at really liked crossword puzzles in my other playthrough. But she was somebody that I played second and not first. So this is an interesting experience. We are gonna try something with her, which is to get overworked. We're gonna see how that will go. You know what? Let's date McMurphy. I don't know, do I want a good relationship with him or not? Because I have achieved good relationship with him once. Kara? Wake up! Huh? Mummy, is that you? Shh! Quiet, Kara. Come with me. I have something to show you, but you have to be quiet. McMurphy? Yes, it's me. But it's the middle of the night. Ah, Kara, you're not scared, are you? Why would I be scared? Creeping around in a forest in the middle of the night? Don't worry, Kara. I'll be there to protect you. McMurphy, you know very well that there's nothing that can pass the force field around this island. It makes this a very safe place. Indeed, so only the things you have to worry about are the things that are already here. He leers at me with a mock snarl. Seriously, Murph, if you're the worst threat here, then this is the safest place on Earth. Come on, Kara, what are you waiting for? Follow the shaggy cat into the forest. The ground is wet and muddy, and I lose my footing a couple of times, but McMurphy is too determined to notice. Suddenly he stops dead in his tracks. Here we are. Where is here, McMurphy? He ignores my question and starts digging into some mud and leaves on the ground. Almost got it. Could use a hand, Kara, if you don't mind. Get these leaves out of the way. That's it. Here we are. Okay. We kept digging until there's a fairly deep hole in the ground. My arms and nightclothes are covered in mud and leaves, and McMurphy looks like a bog monster in the darkness. Da-da! Da-da! Can't you see it, Kara? I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I always forget how useless human eyes are in the dark. Just reach into the hole and take out whatever you find. I reluctantly reach into the burrow and feel something hard and cold against my hand. I'll wrap my fingers around it and pull it out. I know the shape, but my eyes can hardly process it. It's a bottle? That's right, Kara. This is my secret stash. No one knows about it. Not a soul. But I thought I'll share it with you. Though we could have a kind of welcome to the island party too. Secret stash? Is this booze? McMurphy lets out a wild laugh. That's it, Kara. You drink alcohol, but you're a cat. That can't be good for your body. It's not good for any bodies, but it does wonders for the soul, to be sure. Oh, I suppose you're right here, McMurphy. Guess one little nip couldn't hurt. That's the spirit. I try in vain to get some of the mud off me before giving up and sitting down against a tree. A sudden McMurphy curls up on my lap. Takes a while to uncork the bottle. McMurphy keeps telling me to smash it open, that the shards of glass will only add to the flavor, but eventually I succeed my way. I pour a little out from McMurphy into a leaf, and I self-consciously swing from the bottle, feeling a touch uncivilized. McMurphy, what in the heaven's name is this? Now, don't worry about that, Kara. It's not about the taste, it's about the company. I hardly think I'm the type of person that usually I hang around with. Well, I usually hang around with cats, and they're not exactly what I would call my type. I respond by widening my eyes as I take another swing from the bottle. Somehow it tastes less terrible the second time around, and I can do exactly the same thing because I still have a very tiny amount of blended Scotch whiskey left, so give me a second. Duh. Whiskey really burns? It's not... It's actually pretty good for your throat, but... Ow! There are types of it that are not that bad. This type is the fire type, but it's one alcohol that doesn't actually give me a hangover, it just makes me kinda happy. Yeah, I think I have decided I'm gonna fully go with McMurphy, but I think I'm gonna see what happens if I run out of lives and let myself pass out. But keeping that in mind, whenever my character drinks, I will drink too. I find humans much more interesting. They usually have a lot to say, present company accepted. McMurphy winks at me with his huge green eyes, and I blush, trying desperately not to show how boring I feel compared to him. Don't take it harsh. I'm only joking, Kara. McMurphy, I've been meaning to ask something for a while now. Anything, Kara? Ask away. I'd love for us to get to know each other better. This Kara thing. You know my name is... The rest of my sentence is drowned out by McMurphy's howls of laughter. You make me laugh, Kara, you really do. I know exactly what your name is. Ahem. Robert. Kara is just a little pet name, you know? Kara means friend, buddy, amigo. It's something my mummy used to call people, and I guess it just stuck. It's one of those few things I remember about her, actually. And that and her beautiful smile. Hey, flash me your pearly whites. I smile at McMurphy awkwardly. He bursts into fits of laughter again. That's a lovely smile to be sure, but you need to grow into it yet. Could I have a top-up over here? I don't know if I feel comfortable giving you more alcohol, McMurphy. I think you had more than enough. In fact, I didn't even want to give you any in the first place. Did you know not that cats have 9 lives? And you want to waste them all on booze? And why not? Besides, the night is still young and we're only just begun our conversation. Come on, Kara. There's been a lot of chin-wagging to do yet. Are you going to pour or not? Cheers! Part of me thinks I ought to be a responsible human here and cut you off of your alcohol supply, but I believe in true democracy. Would you care to expand on that and perhaps pour the drinks as you do? The true democratic principle is that none shall have the power over the people. Cats, whatever. How inspirational. I'll toast to that. Alright, McMurphy, but on your head be it. For with the rejection of authority comes the responsibility for bearing the consequences of your actions. I pour some more of this spec liquor into McMurphy's soggy lip. Slante! I don't know how this works in cat protocol, but in human terms you are a very mature, very grown-up, adult. Oh, fiddlesticks, you're over a certain age, and as such you can take responsibility for your own choices. which is why I'm taking responsibility for drinking whiskey right now. I like it. Spoken like a true libertine. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I can shake my tail when I feel the web. I can't believe I just said that. This stuff is stronger than it looks. My proverbial hat is off to you. I feel disproportionately pleased that Murph has paid me a compliment. Say, Kara, you ever been in love? McMurphy, the second leaf has gone straight to your head. Cat smiles slyly. I'm going to take that as a yes. Are you still with them? Well, I was never technically with them to begin with. Ouch. Well, it's definitely their loss. Oh, I don't think so, McMurphy. We never actually met. Ah, you're not saying you're one of those, internet stalker types, are you? Them catfish that Kibbles tells tales of? No, McMurphy, gosh. It was Bowie, okay? I was in love with David Bowie, you know? McMurphy frowns and shakes his furry head. See, the eyes so green, I can stare for 1,000 years. You know? Ah, that's a charming song, but I'm afraid I have no idea what's going on anymore. Oh, come on, McMurphy. Everybody knows who David Bowie is. Red hair, lots of makeup, one blue eye, one brown eye. Well, I did know one sweet soul with blue eye and brown eye, but I can assure you they wouldn't be caught dead in makeup. McMurphy snorts. What about you, McMurphy? Who's the love of your life? Don't have one, Kara. Never have. Never will. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a free agent. I'm a big old yeti out in the mountains, all hairy and smelly and alone. For some reason, I find that very hard to believe, Mr. McMurphy. Fine, you're right. I'm a fool, a lovesick fool. I've had my heart broken more than once, Kara, and each time hurt more than the last, I tell you. The thing is, though, Kara, can't remember think about any of them. Any of what? I don't know. What were we talking about? David Bowie. Ah, that's right. So tell me how two of you met. McMurphy, I think I'm drunk. What the hell have I been drinking? Ah, leave me alone. I haven't touched a drop. I think I'm gonna I wake up in the forest with a half-empty bottle in my hand and McMurphy is nowhere to be seen. How the hell did I get here? Can't remember a thing. I look at my catalog. Whoa, is it really that time? Crikey, I need to get to work. At least I had a nice nap on the leaves. Bullshit to me only having 2 hearts. I mean, I slept so nicely on the ground. Meow. Meow, 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 meow. I'm sweltering in the mess tent. Typical for me to get cook duty on the hottest day so far. Step out for a moment to try and catch the air. Psst! I'm not sure if I really heard something or if the dehydration is getting to me. Take a swig from my water bottle. Hey, aren't you gonna share, Kara? Oh, McMurphy, was that you pissing? What are you suggesting, Kara? Only use the designated litter areas. Murph, you're incorrigible. You know exactly what I meant. Come on, Kara. Never mind all that. You have work to do. I am working. I'm supposed to be cooking for this evening. I mean, work of the adventuring variety. Oh, of course you do. Oh, come on, don't be such a bore. I'm sorry, McMurphy, but I can't. I'm very busy here. I'm going to take hours to defrost and braise this meat from the mainland. Well, if you come with me, you may end up providing a much tastier dish in half the time. What do you say, Kara? You up for the crake? What are you saying? You mean I should just bunk off? That's the spirit. Strip off your apron and let's hit the trail. But I can't just... What if someone comes looking for me? Leave him a note. Gone fishing. Maybe it's the heat, but I'm overcome with the moment of madness. Well, okay then, you wild Irish rower. I'm all yours. Now there's a thought. Before I can answer, he slurked into the thickening of the forest behind the clay cooking pits. I whip off my apron and follow behind. Wait, Murph, it's too hot to run. Then we really ought to cool ourselves off, eh? He lets me up to the cliffs, and without warning takes a running jump off the edge. See him flying through the air and watch mesmerized as he cuts through the water. Oh no, Murphy! Are you okay? Don't panic, I'm coming! I kick off my flip-flops and shorts and follow him into the water. I'm surprised at how shallow it is, and that I'm easily able to stand. Murph, where are you? I frantically search about, fearing for his safety, and suddenly feel something brush against my legs, making me scream out loud. What's that? I look down into the clear water and see McMurphy speeding along the seabed like a shark, fast and sleek, and suddenly breaking up through the surface with something in his mouth. McMurphy, you can swim? What on earth is that thing? Oh my, it's a fish? I can see he's smiling even with the spat in the way. You can fish? He spits the fish back into the water. There truly is no end to my talents, Kara. You can say that again, but I have so many questions I don't even know where to start. Catch your breath, Kara. I know I'm an exhilarating company, but you need to exercise a little bit of restraint, or you'll be swooning on me next. Relax, the salt water is very buoyant. We copy McMurphy and we both lie with our backs on the surface. It's very calming and tranquil, and I'm finally able to collect my thoughts. Realize I've not had this much clarity in a long time. This is so cool. I know! Trixie took me here first. Calls it the Ponder Pool. Oh, can you all swim then? I thought cats... Before I can even finish my sentence, McMurphy cuts in. It's a common misconception that cats can't swim. As you can see, it's another thing we excel at. So humble, too. As Nana McMurphy used to say, if you got a trumpet, blow it. What about the fish? Where did they come from? There are no birds or fish on the island? It's one of the things they tell you in orientation. Now this is an important bit. Cats can swim, they just don't like the water. They're not gonna drown. They're just gonna really hate you if you put them in water. That's just because they don't know. Don't know what? It's better if I just show you. Come on, Kara, follow me. We swim for a while, McMurphy leading the way with purpose, and then he stops. Well, notice anything interesting? Well, the water is much cooler and deeper here. Anything else? Can you feel anything? I stand perfectly still for a moment and begin to feel a strange sensation around my legs, like a worm trickling under the water. McMurphy, are you peeing? Don't be so crude, Kara, it's a current. Look over there. I refocus my eyes until they see that what I thought was a rock shallow is moving. It comes closer into focus and I realize it's a shoal of small fish darting in and out of one particular spot. What's that? Don't understand what I'm looking at. Isn't it enough to just see, Kara? To experience? You always have to understand everything. Well, yes, that's my job. It's who I am, McMurphy. I'm a scientist and it's in my DNA to seek to understand. Come on then, scientist, let's take a closer look. We move closer to the area where the fish are gathered. I put my hand down and realize I can touch them and even pick them up. But something is stopping them from swimming further inland. McMurphy, we need to get going. I'm going to be in big trouble if I'm away any longer. But thank you for showing me this. I'm definitely going to come back here and try and understand it. Wouldn't waste your time, Kara. Wouldn't be a waste. I'm committed to finding out all. Cuts across me as I'm speaking. I mean coming back to this particular spot. The fishes won't be here. Oh, I see. It's only at certain times? And different locations. It changes all the time. There's no pattern to it either. So you'll just be sticking pins in maps, Kara. Brought you here because I saw them this morning. Chances are they're gonna be gone by the afternoon. And disappointment must be apparent on my face because McMurphy switches lines super fast to distract me. Okay, Kara, it's time to strip off. Huh? That t-shirt would make a lovely net. Let's go fishing. Oh, I see. I whip off my top and use it as a net to scoop up as many fish as possible. It's quite effective. Great idea, Murph. Now you can rustle up a tasty fish, suffer in no time at all, and you get to enjoy my company for an extra hour. Win-win, Kara. Okay, so now I have a little challenge for you. That, Kara, is music to my ears. There's little I like more than a gauntlet thrown. Well, it's hardly a gauntlet, more like a brain teaser. How am I going to explain the rest of my team this bountiful ocean offering? Why tell them anything at all? Because they're going to notice that we're eating something that wasn't on the delivery list or the menu rota and tastes way too fresh for something recently defrosted. You worry too much about things that really don't matter, Kara. I know he's right. I could do with loosening up a little, but this is a pretty big dilemma, really. Maybe I ought to tell Professor Popper about this. What's the harm? Max stops splashing around and looks at me squeakily in the eyes. There would be harm, Kara. Trust me on that. Obviously don't mean to tell about you or anything like that. That wouldn't endanger any of us. Just that I noticed the show of fishes and I took some end off. You really think you could mention a phenomenon like this and that would be the end of it? And you wouldn't start putting all manner of investigations and disruptions in place? You're touchingly naive, my friend. I feel myself blush, and I am a bit naive, but I don't like the thought of lying. So what do you suggest then, if you know so much about everything? Give me a plausible story and I'll follow through. Murphy lets out a wild howl and splashes water at me. Now that's what I like to hear, you impetuous daredevil you. I splash him back and a furious water fight ensues. We are making such a ruckus. I'm amazed that no one comes to check what's going on. After a good 10 minutes of laughter and play, we run out into steam and float in the buoyant warm water. Let's hear it then, Oz. What's the cover story? It's a very simple case of brazen bluffing. Okay. Make a simple but delicious meal, and if anyone should ask where the fish came from, shrug your shoulders and ask the same question. Huh? It's all on the poker face. You remain completely impassive and ask the same question. Yeah, I wondered that too. Where did the fish come from? They're delicious. Really? Trust me, Kara, as a cat who's forever risking one of his 9, the simpler you keep it, the more that they buy it. If they ask you where you got them from, you tell them the fridge. Simple. Feel quite giddy at the prospect of getting away with a ruse. Okay, Murph, let's gather the supper. We have an abundance in no time, and a hole might catch back to the kitchen in good time to make a tasty meal for everyone, and a little extra for my feline pals. This game is actively killing my throat, as all visual novels do. Let's see what happens if we exhaust our hearts, eh? Negative consequences. At about reckon 10. Strange message in the middle of the night. Doesn't anyone on the silent sleep? You hear my catalog beeping. I presume it's the professor. Tumble out of bed, half asleep, and fumble around looking for the device. I look at the screen, my eyes struggling to focus. The message isn't from the professor at all. There's no contact information. Come outside. Who is this? Come outside. They obviously aren't going to respond to my question. Should I do as the message tells me? My curiosity is aroused. I have a feeling there's something important to learn from this stranger, so I throw on my clothes and crawl out of my tent. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Anyone out here? My catalog beeps again. Walk to the edge of the forest. I'm not going to go any further until you tell me what you are. Walk to the edge of the forest. No. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Stop it! By now, I realize I have walked to the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest, I see something on the ground. As I get closer, it becomes clearer that it's a small posy of flowers. Gingerly picked them up and noticed that several of the flower heads are missing. My catalog beeps again. Follow the petals. And that's when I see the trail of little orange petals, same color as the bouquet I'm holding. Well, I've come this far, no turning back now. I've begun to walk. I'm nervous, so I call out. Hello? No answer. Louder this time. Hello? 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 Who is that? Who goes here? Mayor? Is that you, Fluffy Butt? I really wish you wouldn't call me that, human. What on earth do you think you're playing at? Cavorting around the forest in the dead of the night, causing a ruckus? Oh, Mayor, you don't know how pleased I am to see you. I need your help. And this can't wait until a civilized hour? I'm afraid it can't. I'm not the one instigating this. I've been getting messages from an anonymous source asking me to follow them into the forest. Look, they left this trail. Ah, Calendula marima, marigolds, herb of the sun. They're said to represent creativity, though some believe them to be symbols of cruelty and grief. Your knowledge is always impressive, but I have to say on this occasion it's not very comforting. Fluffy Butt goes straighting off with a purpose. Come along then, Robert. Are we going to follow this trail or not? Shuffle awkwardly behind them. Before the sun comes up, eh? We continue on for a short while and notice that the petals are getting more sparse. It's becoming more difficult to see them until eventually they seem to run out, and we find ourselves at a small clearing. Well, it appears somebody has been playing a joke on you, Robert. Sadly agree. There has been nothing but a wild goose chase. Seems so, Mayor. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Let's get back to our beds before we waste any more precious news time on this fool. Turn to Fluffy Butt and notice that his back is arched and his fur is puffed up, making him look even more floofy than usual. Something wrong, Mayor? You tell me, human. Does that pile of rocks look suspicious to you? Amongst myriad rock piles, I notice a small, contrived-looking cairn. Fluffy Butt's right. It looks far from natural. This looks to me like it's asking to be inspected, Mayor. Well, get to it, Robert. You're the one with the thumbs. Begin to dismantle the small mound rock by rock. Not until the foundation stone is removed does we find them in the envelope. Mayor, look, it's a letter. Looks rather large for a letter, my dear. Thought you ought to open it. Here or back at the base? Having got used this far, I think it's only fair that I have equal share of the spoils. Spoils? Yes, perhaps we should look right now, Mayor. As I'm speaking, I'm tearing the envelope. Well, out of it, it looks like drawings? What sort of drawings? I'm not sure, but they look quite old, antique even. But did they have value, human? Probably, to someone. They appear to be sketches of people here on the island, but I don't recognize anyone. Why would someone lead me to these? How do you know you were not meant to find them? Because we followed the trail and it led us here? Actually, the trail ended a while back. This could be a mere coincidence. I hardly see the intrigue in a few old scribbles. They show no artistic flair at all. Even so, I'm going to hang on to these to see if they prove relevant to whatever mystery is unfolding here on this island. Fluffy Butt rolls his eyes. You really ought to focus more on clues that matter instead of running around in the middle of the night on wild goose chases. Let's head back before anybody discovers you're missing. I rolled the drawings up and took them into my waistband. I will study them when I have more time. I think Fluffy Butt is probably right, but I don't want to miss a trick. Get some rest now, Robert. Finally, a sensible solution. I had, after a Fluffy Butt struggling to keep up. I really need some sleep. As I walked back to my tent, I started to feel a little faint. My head was spinning and I started to feel my legs give up under me. Before I knew what was going on, I was out cold. Came to a few hours later in my tent. The professor was standing over me with an uncharacteristically worried expression on his face. Ah, welcome back to the world of the living, Robert. What happened? My head is killing me, Professor. Not surprised? You worked yourself too hard? We found you collapsed in the middle of the base camp. Gave us quite the scare. Can't say I don't appreciate your desire to work hard, but health comes first, Robert. I'm having you sent back to the mainland to get some proper supervised rest. What about the research? Ever the hard worker, eh? Not to worry. I'll be able to cope perfectly fine in your absence, and I dare say it won't be long until you're back on your feet again. Although I hope I shouldn't need to point out that this kind of behavior had best stay on the mainland, eh? We were lucky you collapsed somewhere safe. Imagine if you had been out doing field work at the time. Anyway, I packed a few of your things for you. The boat's waiting on the dock. The sooner you're home and rested, the sooner you can be back to work. And with that, the professor excuses himself. Made my way forlornly to the jetty. Have not only let myself down, but all of the cats too. The cats! I promised myself that I would take better care of myself upon my return to the island and redouble my efforts on finding a cure. Had to admit I was looking forward to meeting up with my family and some of my old friends too. Friends like... Strange, even after a short period of time I can't seem to remember much about my life before. Joe, the ferryman's son, helps me onto the boat. Morning! Where are we off to? He looks at me suspiciously. I knew you were a bit sick, but I didn't think it was that bad. We're going back to the mainland, remember? Of course I do! I don't. For some reason in this moment I can't remember. Alright, say I never caught your name. Mind reminding me? It's oh god! The catification. This is humiliating. How can I not remember my own name? Joe smiles. Don't worry, mate. You sit right there for a minute. Dad? Bob comes to join us on the deck. Got a problem here, son? Reckon so. Can't even remember their own name. What? Yes, I can. It's... Before I can protest, the older man has pulled what looks like a gun from his coat and is aiming at me. What? It's not personal, Robert. We just have to take precautions. Can't have any problems reaching the mainland, can we? Wow! Ouch! Really ouch. See you on the next episode when we pick somebody else, and now we know better than to stay awake. It leads to you being killed.